Good evening and welcome back to the Untold Tales of Drakkenheim. This is the Dungeon Dudes weekly Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition live stream campaign. My name is Monty Martin, running our game as Dungeon Master.
And I'm Kelly McLaughlin, playing Wilhelm Wolfsbane, the human swashbuckler rogue. And we're joined today by our good friends.
Jill Denitis playing Rudy Whitaker, the shifter Eldritch Knight.
And Joe O'Gorman playing Wrath, the Scourge Asimar Pact of the Tome Warlock.
Of the great old one.
Great one. Great old one. I'll never...
Of Bruce. You'll get it one day. You'll get it one day.
Bruce. Yes, Bruce.
Thank you for joining us once again as we continue our remote live streams. If you're just tuning in for the very first time or have tuned into our show before and are wondering what is going on, we are the Dungeon Dudes. We post new videos every Thursday on our YouTube channel where we cover everything Dungeons & Dragons, including advice for players and guides for Dungeon Masters. You can check us out at youtube.com/dungeondudes.
And you can also join us Tuesday nights when we record the campaign live on Twitch. You can check us out from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/dungeon_dudes. We also have all of the previous episodes of our show available on our YouTube channel as well.
Of course, don't forget to take a look at the links below for our Teespring store where you can find all of your favorite Dungeon Dudes t-shirts, like all the ones from our Season 2 of Shadows of Drakkenheim, plus some old favorites as well. bit.ly/DungeonDudesMerch.
And we are very pleased to show off a very fun little accessory that we're going to try using tonight. This is the legendary Rod of Initiative that was sent to us by Brothers Forged.
Cool.
We just got this in this week. They've just launched their new campaign on Kickstarter. You can find a quick link to it through brothersforge.ca. They are another Canadian company, and they have made this awesome hand-crafted initiative tracker that is magnetic. Like, it's really cool, made of wood and metal with the sword and everything. So I've missed the physical stuff, so I might actually try using this tonight in our game. It is really, really gorgeous. It's got the full wooden stand and everything and fully magnetized. So that's been a fun little thing, and I can't wait to properly show it off at our when people can come back over again. But might try using it tonight because, you know, it's a fun way to track initiative. So they're just launching their Kickstarter as well. So brothersforge.ca, you can find that. Super, super cool stuff. Just slide that over here for now. Alrighty. So, Kelly, what's happening tonight? What are we doing?
What's happening tonight? We are continuing our Untold Tales of Drakkenheim with the beautiful second part to Way Bigger Than Ducks, where the three heroes are stuck underground exploring the mystery of why all the ducks in Tierhaven have gone missing. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this is one of our Untold Tales, which means that it's not taking place in order with the main story. This is actually taking place before Season 2, introducing those characters in a prequel mission that explains what the duck situation was that they had to deal with a while ago. So we are in the midst of exploring an underground cavern, having followed the trail of duck clues. And now we're trying to figure out exactly what is happening.
Now, of course, for all of you watching along, this is also our way of experimenting with online play. As a group, we have not played remotely before together, and we are doing so now out of necessity. And so we have been exploring just how to get it rigged up, how to get it all working. And in particular, we are trying out using a virtual tabletop this evening, which is our second go at it. So please be aware we might run into some technical flubs and glitches as we stumble our way through Roll20. And we're probably going to try out a couple different virtual tabletops. Jill just tried out Astral Tabletop recently as well. I was poking around Fantasy Grounds. So we're just experimenting. This is not like an endorsement of Roll20 or anything. It's just what we're trying out as well. And just so that all of you know, we are playing remotely. and we are very good friends who've played D&D together for quite a while, and we are not using the virtual die roller. We're all rolling physical dice with ourselves, because to me, rolling physical dice is part of the soul of Dungeons and Dragons, and I don't want that taken away from me. It's mine.
Can't blame computers for your fails and crits.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So we are rolling physical dice. We're still tracking our character sheets in D&D Beyond and stuff like that. So we're doing pretty bare bones with what you can do with Roll20, but we got some pretty stuff up in there. All the maps that you might be seeing tonight were made by me. They were not drawn by hand. I use a variety of apps to make those. Friends at Dungeon Fog, as well as some awesome tools like Wonder Draft were used to make some of the maps that you'll see this evening, as well as I've sourced a couple of my assets from 2 Minute Tabletop as well. So just to give a friendly shout out to all the folks that I sourced maps from, and I'll try to stay on top of that through the rest of the night in case we have something extemporaneous. Okay, so with that, shall we return to the Untold Tales of Drakkenheim? Awesome. Alrighty, let's bring up the tabletop. Boom. Okay, so Rudy, Wrath, and Wilhelm have tracked the missing ducks of Tierhaven from Lyrand Pond all the way back to these ruins here. The old tower crumbling apart has, beneath this old tower, you have found this underground complex, a little bit expanded from what it once was, and now have found these underground caves. In the distance, Wrath, you sense an arcane energy, and you can hear a small voice incanting arcane language. There is a glow coming from down the passageway in this area here, and you can see the glint of water and the bubbling of a pool beyond. All throughout you and the rest of the caves are various phosphorescent fungi, all through the walls and around several roots of the great trees bearing down in here well, many of them glowing with octarine light. What will you do?
Wrath, what do you make of these glowing mushrooms?
Bruce will likely have to eat one to know its full capabilities. And I want to have Bruce eat a mushroom. and by that I mean Bruce eats a mushroom and I watch from a distance.
Bruce looks at the mushroom on the ground, and looks back at you and says, "You're not going to cook it?"
My apologies. Great one. And I begin creating a kind of a stir fry on the ground near, and I start assembling kindling to make a small fire.
Wrath, it was a simple question. I don't think we're camping out as you're running around gathering all these supplies. There's somebody chanting.
Like quietly, when you're like quietly doing something quickly. So I'm like kind of like sling around.
Bruce says, "I like them sautéed gently with salt and the bones of an enemy."
I will have to prepare your entire entree, Bruce, after we murder the wizard.
Rudy, I think I'm just going to stop asking Wrath questions. Every time I do, he just talks to his cat for 10 minutes and they just stare at each other, and it's horribly awkward.
It is quite strange, but you know what? He's at least able to help us out, and this strange cat is too, then, I mean, all I can do is thank him for his service.
Wrath, what do you make of this chanting that we're hearing? Can you make out the words? You're a magic sort. Do you speak magic?
I want to listen on the in the air. I want to see if I can tell what he's doing.
Okay, give me give me a perception check. The results of your perception check are going to determine whether or not you can make your Arcana check and whether or not you have disadvantage.
14.
14. Okay. Give me an Arcana check, straight up. You listen really, really intently, but you miss a few bits and pieces of it.
11.
11. The only thing that you can infer is that a conjuration spell of some kind is being incanted. What the spell is, no idea. It's a powerful ritual that often that involves this conjuration magic. You hear the syllables in the arcane babble that would evoke that kind of magic.
He's bringing backup. We must hurry.
That sounds like something we should put a stop to immediately.
Get in there.
Should I go take a look into the glowing room yonder?
I'm going to touch your shoulder, Wilhelm, and I'm going to cast invisibility on you and myself.
Wait, can I?
Where'd y'all go?
There's my invisibility symbol.
Okay.
All right.
Rudy, you will know when to strike.
And I...
All right. I get my axes ready.
I'm going to...
Houdini, you stay with me.
So...
I'm going to sneak...
Follow Bruce, Rudy.
I'm going to sneak up to there.
Okay. So this passage here where I'm drawing the arrow...
Yeah.
There. About here, it begins to slope downward. So it slopes downward at a relatively steep angle, particularly in this section right here. So Wilhelm, give me an acrobatics check.
Very well. I'm going to set that pipe down for now. I get a 28.
Okay. You slide down, and I'm going to let you make a stealth check with advantage. The other thing that you notice as you head down is that this area here comes to a rather abrupt dead end. So right up around here, there's a little bit of a collapse in the passageway. And you just noticed with a glint as you move past that it looks like there's like a hatch or some sort of trap door there that leads back upwards.
I take mental note of the hatch and stealthily approach, sliding ever so quietly down the slope. Yeah, that's what happens.
Okay. So this is what you see beyond. Just going to reveal the areas here for you. Okay, so.
Oh boy.
All right. So as you come down to the bottom of the slope in this area here, there is a glowing pool of crystal clear water. But in the middle of the pool, there is this thrashing beast. It looks like a mud and oil covered koi fish, but it is completely translucent, and it looks like it is made of sludge combined with sacks of fluid, like a jellyfish. Like its exterior is composed of jellyfish like flesh. And there are long tendrils coming from its face, and it thrashes around in the midst because you can just barely make out these faint lines of what looks like a net, but it's almost imperceptible. But this koi fish is thrashing around in this net imperceptibly. The net, given the size of the creature, the koi fish is far too large for this pond. It's massive, almost perhaps even 12 feet in length. It is way too big for this pool, but it is thrashing about and the water is boiling up. This is the source of the bubbling from before. But looking further, you can see that the passage continues sloping downwards again, and at the base of base of it, you can just make out there is a circle of candles upon which an arcane rune is drawn, and you can see waves of energy hovering through the air and reflecting off of the fungi and the roots. So you can see that through the walls of the cavern in this area and in this area, it's almost like this magic has taken up the roots around the area, and the roots themselves are then forming whatever is binding this creature in the water. At the base of the ramp downwards, you can hear a small voice incanting, echoing out through the chambers.
All right. With that information, can I make my way like over here? Can I
Where?
clamber back up?
Back up?
And around?
Okay. Yeah, you clamber back up and around. Give me a stealth check again.
I'm still invisible, so with advantage or no?
No,
advantage.
they just have disadvantage to find
I always get that wrong. I always want advantage when I'm invisible. Just give it to me. Stealth roll, I get a 26.
Okay. Pretty effortless. Indeed. Okay. So as you can see, it connects back up.
All right.
Right, but this upper passage along here, the slope is much gentler.
Cool. I come back and invisibly surprise both of you, and I'm like, my friends.
What?
I forgot to describe the most important thing that you saw.
Oh, okay.
In the midst of the small circle is a small gnome. The gnome himself is he has a white beard, and his hair stands on end over a bandana that he's put in place, with a pair of goggles soundly over his eyes, goggles that are far too big for his head. He is wearing a bit of light armor and is carrying this staff that is made of whirring and clicking gears that he's holding over his head as he's incanting these words. And the circle that he's standing on is forming all these shapes of various gears and pieces. And in front of him in the circle is what appears to be a music box of some kind. And all the energy is coalescing into the small box that is glowing with an intense light. The gnome himself is rather pudgy with a dusky complexion, and speaks in this kind of like shrill sort of voice as he's incanting the words.
My friends, I think I've seen our target. It appears that there is a strange gnome incanting just beyond these walls. Now, the glow down there seems to lead to a giant fish that concerns me somewhat. The upper route seems to wrap around and would give us an advantage to get the drop on our target. I think I might have an idea as well, because he seems to be conjuring something into a small box. I say we get into a good position, and on my signal, we disrupt his ritual. The signal will be known to you when the music box starts to float away with an invisible man carrying it.
Wilhelm,
So,
I enjoy your plan. However, we must act quickly. If he finishes his ritual, we'll have more to deal with.
Exactly.
am I smashing the man or am I smashing the box? Just let me know, point me in the right direction, and I'll go and do it.
I say we take the upper route, as it seems safer than clambering by the large glowing fish pond that was a little concerning, I'd say. Do we concur?
Agreed.
Sounds right to me.
All right. Follow me, and I'm invisible, so you actually don't know where I'm going. But
I follow Bruce, who follows you, and Rudy follows Bruce.
And I follow Bruce as well.
Okay. All right. So as you approach, you plan to attack?
Can I see him?
You can see him. You can see that he is incanting some sort of. Now that you can see clearly, he is incanting some sort of binding ritual. The music box before him, he has before him as well a book open, an open book with several scrolls, several arcane ingredients. But most curiously, he has by his tomes and books and the candles that surround him are strange, for there's no candlestick to them. Instead, they're not made of wax, they're made of metal, and all of them are connected together with these strange hoses. And you actually can smell, as you get a bit closer now, there's kind of like this almost acrid smell coming from the whole thing, and the candles are all connected through a cable into this music box. And beside his book, he has this large metal barrel with a wheel attached to it, and there's a slight reverberating echo coming from it, almost like there's a hiss sort of sound, like sss, flowing out, and then the fire comes out of the metal candlesticks.
Okay, I want to pierce his mind. So I want to use my awakened mind, and in his mind, I start saying nonsensical magic gibberish. So abracadabra.
There's more.
You have disturbed Aquarius, the god of water, and this fish belongs to me. He is a creature of mine. Stop now, insolent pig.
Okay, I'm gonna have you make an intimidation check, and your check result is going to he's gonna roll your result against his concentration.
I'm very intimidating. 17.
I get a 20.
Aquarius is displeased.
The small voice, shrill voice, echoes back. Aquarius, I defy you. Your creature is mine. Bow before my power that scorns even the gods.
Love him. Just love him.
From where we are, can we see, is the music box connected with cables or wires to the other?
There seem to be some plugs connecting it to the rest of the apparatus.
I'm going to turn to you two, and I'm still invisible, but I could perhaps try to fire a bolt at the music box, knocking it out of the circle, but I'm not sure if that's likely to work, and it would reveal my position.
As you speak, you hear the gnome say again, "You hear that, Lyrand? Even your god, Aquarius, cannot help you now. You shall be bound to me."
I say we just...
Wilhelm, do you have a rule for just getting in there? Just get in there.
All right. I'm going to stealthily approach invisibly up to the circle. I'm so scared. And Wilhelm is actively nervous. He's never seen anything like this before. So as he's approaching and there's fire and glowing and incanting, I'm getting more and more nervous as I come up, and I'm going to slowly pull my rapier out, and I'm trying to move in inch by inch towards him.
Okay. In that case, let's roll for initiative.
Rudy's ready. She's so ready. Oh. Maybe less ready than y'all. 4.
Yeah, you're waiting. You're waiting for the signal.
25.
25 for Wilhelm. Okay. Rudy's got a 4.
14.
Nothing but 18s today.
Okay.
I rolled a 2. That die is.
Oh, see, look at how quick that was. That was so fast.
That's very nice. That's very nice
There we
looking.
go.
Beautiful.
Okay, so, I'm gonna say that he's on guard now because Wrath had alerted him with this strange thing. So I'm not gonna award you guys surprise. So Wilhelm, I will give you your turn to act. Bill.
We're going for a non-lethal takedown, but I approach the circle, and actually, before I jump in, I like put a hand across the threshold of the like summoning circle just to see if I like explode or anything. Does anything happen?
Make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh boy. Oh, now there's the bad rolls. There's a 9. That's a 9.
Okay.
Aren't you really lucky though? Sometimes when you do this,
I'm gonna use a luck.
Aren't you super lucky though? I've heard.
Oh, 16.
16. Okay.
Thanks.
As you cross the threshold of the circle, the candles send up straight vertical columns of flame to the ceiling of the cavern, forming a cage surrounding Quindle. And there's a burst of fire that resounds upwards, and Quindle says, "Dare not approach me as I incant my masterful spell of binding!" You do manage to dodge out of the way from the burning wall of fire.
Good.
And instead, do you have evasion yet?
Not until level 7.
Okay, so you take 10 points of fire damage.
Good. It's my favorite thing to have happened.
What you wanted.
That's what I wanted. Yeah. Okay. So 10 damage. All right. So I kind of circle, like I somersault backwards out of the way, and I just pull out my crossbow and fire. I'm going to fire 2 shots at him using my crossbow.
The flaming circle.
Does he know where I am, or am I still, because I'm invisible?
You are still invisible.
So I get advantage?
Yeah. But the flames will give him cover, so his AC is increased by 2.
Okay. We're going to get a 17.
A 17. As you fire forward, the shot is consumed by the fiery wall.
And now I'm no longer invisible, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Darn. All right. Now I take my second shot. Getting a natural 1.
Oh.
So it is also consumed by the fire. And I know I have another luck point, but I'm just going to save that just in case something worse happens. And I am going to back up. How far did I move? I moved.
You have a little bit of movement left.
Yeah, I still have. Actually, yeah, that was only
10
15 feet. So
Oh.
I move back here around the edge as I kind of dart back into the shadows. And I look up to Raph and Rudy, and I'm like, he has fire now.
So do we.
A lot of fire. Somebody else, fire back.
Okay. Quindle Nightforge shrieks, and he says, "Ah, interloper! You fool! Don't you know that I have built every apparatus to control all the elements? Watch as I seize using the power of lightning and earth!" And he reaches into his cloak, and he pulls out a small bit of metal and a bit of cloth, and he starts rubbing the metal and the cloth together, and a bolt of lightning shoots out from his hands towards the cavern wall over here. And all of a sudden you could barely see this, but holding up 2 stones of slab, you see now there was a creature up against the wall, and it steps out from the wall.
Oh no!
Oh, I didn't see him.
We did not see that.
It is a dwarf-sized creature made of stone and metal with 2 shields for arms and a single glass lens for a face. It steps out of the wall as Quindle Nightforge, the spell that he has just cast upon it is haste.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
And it's going to join the initiative order right in there.
No.
We have company.
I'm like,
and
has the signal happened yet?
And
No.
Yes.
as that happens, the fire around Quindle Nightforge, the ring of fire around him, transforms into a ring of lightning. Okay. With that, Wrath, it is your turn.
Oh, what's his name?
Quindle Nightforge.
I want to start by entering his mind again. Quindle Nightforge, you may have harnessed the elements that control our material plane, but I have been taught magic that is beyond your comprehension. I am not Atlantis. What did I say earlier? Aquarius?
So you lie!
Master of water, I come from a place that is beyond reason, where you will fall into blackness 1,000,000 times as the power of 1,000 stars collapses upon you, and my cat will likely eat your bones with mushrooms. And I cast hunger of Hadar in the middle of the circle.
The space between the stars opens up upon him as the hunger of Hadar appears. Let's get a nice spell token for this.
Wilhelm is going to freak out when this happens because there's so much magic, and now there's a portal to oblivion just open. Oh man!
And there's rips in space and time as you see just a black void with tentacles, and there's murmuring and there's whispers, and it's like, Bruce, come to me. And
There's
Bruce
like
is just like rubbing up against everyone very playfully and lovingly.
There's like a close-up of Wilhelm's eyes, and you can see the reflection of the spell and all these tentacles and like otherworldly beings.
I
and
imagine
like
that the tentacles move like the tails of cats.
Yeah, they wisp and and they drag and they flick.
what am I supposed to? I turned
Yeah.
you, and I'm like,
And-
what am I supposed to do now?
And the slurping of the hunger of Hadar. You know the very particularly when a cat licks human skin, it sounds like sandpapery. Like it's got that really awful like cat lick
sandpaper.
texture, and the whole area smells like cat breath.
Yeah, it's really it's got a funk to it. And Bruce is gonna run over and help against the. He starts swirling around the dwarf.
Okay. Now I'm pretty sure I just want to check with Hunger of Hadar. Yes, it's when they start their turn in the area. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Anything else, Wrath?
No, that's it for Aquarius, god of everything. Atlantis, Aquarius. What? Who am I?
We're just making up deities here.
Sometimes my alter egos take over.
Okay. The stone and metal dwarf steps off the wall, chunks its shields up, and puts them into a triangle like a bulldozer. Empowered by the haste spell, it fires down the hallway like a bullet.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
and simply tramples its way forward towards Wilhelm. Wrath, you're no longer invisible either, correct?
No.
Okay. So it tramples right up to past Wilhelm and right up to Wrath, flying right past Bruce as it does so, and it makes an attack with its slam, one against Wilhelm and one against Wrath. And I get a 18 to hit Wrath and a 17 to hit Wilhelm.
Hits.
Okay. So Wilhelm, you are going to take 11 points of bludgeoning damage. And Wrath, you're also going to take 11 points of bludgeoning damage. And you are both knocked prone by the blow. And then the stone defender retreats back down the hallway. And it interposes itself on the edge of the spell.
Ow.
I'm going to use my uncanny dodge to take half of that.
Okay, you are still knocked prone, however. And Wrath, I need a concentration check from you. DC 10.
Oh boy. A 19.
Nice. The gap, the blight in space and time remains. Your mind wrenches and warps, trying to keep this cancerous rent in reality itself open.
I look to Bruce for support.
Bruce says, "When was the last time you emptied it? It is my litter box."
Bruce, this is not the time.
Look at the mess you've created. Look at this is your doing. You are the one who feeds me.
Most of this is yours. This all came from you over eons. Hard to empty all that.
All right, Rudy, it is your turn.
Right. I look at Houdini. I say, "See that one right there? That one has a bullseye on its face. Let's smash it." And I then rush over towards this metallic thing with Houdini at my side, and we're just gonna smash it a lot. Yeah. So I'm gonna use the help action with Houdini.
Yep.
Get a hand axe in there. Oh, sorry, not a hand axe. Battle axe. Well, that was terrible. 10.
You're not getting through two of these shields, and with the haste spell on it, it's moving even faster, just blocking. Ding, ding, ding.
All right.
I guess more of a thunk, 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 because it's made of the shields are made of stone.
How about 24?
That will be more than enough in this case.
Nice.
And I'm aiming for the glass on its face. That's 5 damage. Take another swing at it with my other battle axe third on there, and that is 25 to hit.
Wow, nice.
Thank you. A couple bad rolls, couple good rolls. And that's 7 damage, and then I'm gonna action surge. Did it a few more times.
Nice.
18 to hit.
That just hits it. Yeah, just hits it with the bonus from haste.
11.
11 damage.
Yep. And then I do my one more. Oh, that's only a 13 hit, so no.
Bounces off him.
But you hear bing, bing. As
Just
I just
feeding into it.
take shots at it, and I'm like, target practice is fun. Not
All
even
right.
seeing this whole Hadar thing going on. I'm focused on the thing I can smash.
Okay. To the top with Wilhelm.
Wilhelm, when he gets crashed into by this creature, that's what finally takes his gaze away from the horrifying hunger of Hadar as he snaps towards the monstrosity charging him down. And he looks at you guys and says, well, rule number 32, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. So I'll fight the one that doesn't terrify me. And I take out my rapier and I try to stab it around the shields towards this monstrosity. Getting a 18 to hit.
You get right through the shields, and the rapier lands in the connecting tubes underneath its neck.
I'm going to use sneak attack since Rudy is right there. Doing 22 damage.
Cool.
Nice.
So I pierce him. Yes?
I imagine us doing a dance together.
Yeah, we're like sharing, like you go in and attack, and as you reel back, I go in and attack, and then I like twirl around with my cape and pull out the crossbow, and I'm going to fire a shot into the beast as well. Getting a 17.
It just pulls the shield up at the last moment, blocking the shot that might have laid it low.
And then I roll kind of just back
Cool.
into...
Remember, you had to stand up from prone this turn, so your speed's pretty limited.
Fair. That's as far as I'm going.
Okay. Looks good to me. Next up, you hear horribly indescribable screaming from within the void.
Masked by other horribly indescribable screaming.
Did I just hear a cat purring?
Roll me 2d6 cold damage.
Ooh, 4.
Okay, so Gwendol takes 4 points of damage. Okay. Okay. So, Quindle Nightforge stumbles forward. Can he get out? I don't know if he can. He might not have enough speed to actually get out of there because he's a small creature, and his speed is...
It's difficult terrain?
It's difficult terrain, yeah. Okay. So Quindle Nightforge screeches outward, and as he does so, he stumbles forward. Whatever was powering the ritual is completely disrupted by the spell. Nevertheless, he stumbles forward, and he's just on the edge of the hunger of Hadar. And as he does so, he says, I'll get you back. And you hear this electrical energy seize up, and a lightning bolt fires down the hallway. And it's going to go down the whole way. So I'm going to say that the way that it goes, he's kind of firing it out haphazardly. So I'm going to give you all advantage on your saving throws, because it's kind of all moving through like your half squares, and he isn't really aiming it directly in your direction, but he knows the general direction that you all came from. So you can all give me dexterity saving throws.
With advantage?
Yes, with advantage.
8.
27. Oh boy.
8.
I'm eating a lightning bolt.
Same.
I
can hear the dice. I can hear the dice.
Okay. So
Can I not take half damage? I choose not to.
It's 10. That's 26 electrical damage.
Ow!
And if I saved, is it half?
Yes.
Can I half it again with uncanny dodge?
You got uncanny dodge has to be against attacks.
Right.
And as it sails through, it also sails through the stone defender, and it energizes its self-repair system. And these small little bits of earth come out of it and start repairing it, and it is healed by the lightning damage.
Whoa.
I'm in a pickle, guys.
What's the concentration check?
The DC would be 13.
the time and space void starts to collapse on itself as it and then it pops away.
But nevertheless, it leaves behind the ruins of Quindle Nightforge's ritual, completely disrupted by the energy of Hunger of Hadar. The candles are all scattered about and knocked over. The music box is still in the middle, but many of the cables have been disconnected and ruined. And then and as it comes out, Quindle Nightforge looks back at his hands and he's like, "Aha! See? Even the forces of time and space, horrors from the world beyond, are nothing compared to my command of the elements."
We have to leave him alive.
It's the right thing to do. I don't know if he deserves it.
I mean, I'm undecided. Whatever happens, happens.
However, he failed his concentration check to maintain haste because of the damage he took from the Hunger of Hadar at the start of his turn. So you see as the energy washes out, you can see that he's still panting, and the spell that he had cast before is broken.
Ooh.
Okay. With that, we go to Wrath.
So I've been hit with a lightning bolt. I was run over by a speeding dwarf. Wrath kind of like, he's hurting. He sort of stands up, gets to his feet, and I'm going to take a couple of angry shots at the little gnome. So Bruce swarms in, and your control over the elements is no match for my cat. And I crit on an Eldritch Blast. So do I add the +5 as well as part of the crit?
It doesn't get doubled. You just roll the dice twice.
So
it's 15 plus whatever you roll on the die.
So 19.
Nice.
On the first one, and I take a second shot at him, and I get a 24 to hit.
That's a hit.
But that one is only 6 damage.
The eldritch energy slams into Quindle Nightforge, and he staggers backwards away from Bruce. Okay. Anything else, Wrath?
No, he's gotta stand there. Take it.
All right. The Stone Defender, slowed down by the loss of the spell, but emboldened by the healing energy, turns back around to Rudy and punches you with its slam, getting a critical hit.
Fun. Cool.
And Rudy, that is going to be a total of 16 points of damage.
I'm still alive! Barely, but I'm still alive.
We're fine. Everything's fine.
Cough up a little bit of blood.
I toss you a handkerchief.
Thank you.
That was my good handkerchief.
Oh, no good anymore.
Okay. Rudy, it's your turn.
Emboldened by the blood I have coughed up, I breathe it in and I second wind.
Nice.
Breathe your own blood.
Yeah.
No one makes me bleed my own blood.
Wow. Okay, I heal 6 points of the... Heal 6 points healed. That didn't really... It's fine. Still breathing blood out. And I'm mad at this guy, so I just start taking swings at him using my battle axes. I call for Houdini's help. 16 to hit.
With the haste spell no longer in effect, that is a hit.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
8 damage.
Okay.
I take one more swing. Nope.
Not going through. Okay.
I'm a bit weakened by the second one. I didn't have as much momentum.
Wilhelm, what are you going to do, buddy?
Wilhelm comes back over here and drinks a healing potion. So good. Which is 10. Yeah, 10. And then, can I do anything with my bonus action? I don't even know. Features and traits. I don't really think. I think that might be my whole turn.
Okay.
I'm going to use my bonus action to take a cunning action and hide.
Okay.
So I run back here, hide, and pop a potion and drink it, and nobody knows where I went. I will not admit how things just got there.
I can clearly see you hiding, like ducking down behind a rock.
I look over at you and I go, shh. And I'm just there sipping my potion.
And I call out and I'm like, Wilhelm, where's my deputy? I'm doing this fight all on my own.
He's not. Wilhelm is not bleeding. Wilhelm is fine. Prepare for sneak attack. You'll see it. You'll be ready. Good.
I'm ready.
And that's my glorious turn.
Okay. Quindle Nightforge steps forward and he says, "Ah, I am mighty and powerful. Witness my control of the elements." And he launches a firebolt towards you, Rudy.
Rudy, no!
Getting a natural one.
I just like absorb the fire. I'm just like, that ain't the right element to use on me, Buster.
Okay. With that, he is going to walk back over here and says, "Get away from me, you disgusting cat!"
You do not
Does
refer to
Bruce
Bruce that
get an
way.
opportunity attack?
No, because he's a familiar and
No.
can't attack.
Fine.
He screams in his mind, which is more than any attack could ever do.
Okay. Wrath, it is your turn.
I send Bruce to the to this mechanical marvel and let out two more eldritch blasts against it, trying to save old Rudy. I get like a 26 to hit.
Just call me old.
Old, like OL apostrophe.
Old Rudy.
Sorry, mama.
That is a hit.
I get 12 damage.
Nice.
And my second
with all the
attack.
familiars, I can't even click the token.
Just keep putting the
Just like,
pile
get
of
out of the
blood.
way, owl.
Oh, so close. 27 to hit
That's a hit.
for 10 damage.
That's gonna do it. The
Yeah!
last blast collides with it, and it collapses to the ground, destroyed.
I kind of approach it right behind Rudy and then just start letting these blasts fly. And I imagine it tries to block them with its shield, but it just kind of penetrates
Blasts
through it. And
right through the shields, and Quindle Nightforge says, "No! That'll take me weeks to repair him! Nah! I'll destroy you!"
And your mechanical marvels are no match for my awesome power from my patron and pet.
Okay, with
Surrender
the Stone
now.
Defender destroyed, Rudy, it is your turn.
All right. You see me kind of shake my body a little bit, and I take my bonus action and I shift, and my face just turns like wolfish, and I say, "You may not got a week left, sir." And I get 7 temporary hit points. I'm doing all I can not to die right now.
Every bit counts.
Every bit counts. And I rush over with Houdini to his face.
Okay.
And I use my attack, start bashing him in with battle axes, but of course, like, mainly going for his legs. Because I don't want to kill him, but I'm mad. And I'm like very wolfish. And I'm like,
Cool.
and I go for it. So.
Holding back, you chop off his legs.
Classic
19.
Rudy holding back.
That's a hit.
Rudy.
Yeah.
Classic Rudy. I'm only gonna chop off your legs. Like you'll fine.
Survive.
Just a flesh wound.
10 damage.
Okay.
Second one. 9 to hit.
He manages to roll out of the way of the second axe as it comes down upon him.
I say, stop moving around so much. I need to chop off your other leg.
Okay, we go back to the top with Wilhelm.
Wilhelm pops over to here and pulls out his crossbow and looks at the gnome. Gnome?
Yep.
Yeah. And says, or he steps around the corner, his cape billowing in the non-wind, and he pulls out his crossbow and points it at him and says, "Give me back my ducks," and fires his crossbow at him.
Oh yeah, that's why we're here. Forgot why we're killing a gnome. Thank you, Jill.
No problem.
What was our duck's name again?
Frank and Ethel.
Okay.
I get a 22 to hit.
That is a hit.
All right. I'm going to use sneak attack on that.
You're aiming for the toe, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to shoot him in the shoulder to knock him over and not non-lethally. So I do 17 damage.
Nice. He is very bloodied now.
I take my second shot, aiming for his other shoulder. Ooh, almost. I get a 26. That's just going to be non-sneak attacky, so that's going to be another 7 damage.
Okay. He's still standing.
Whew.
It is his turn. Gasping at the 2 crossbow shots, he disappears in a puff of smoke.
Hey.
What in tarnation's going on?
And you hear
Oh,
him
just
cackling.
disappear?
And you see the box get scooped up and disappear. And then the footsteps go silent.
Where is he, Bruce?
Did we win?
Is
Bruce,
that it?
where is he?
Is that what happens when a spellcaster dies? Do they vanish with their belongings?
Wrath, it is your turn.
So I go, I'm gonna say to Rudy, follow Bruce. And I kind of do my and I fall on the ground and I'm gonna go through Bruce's eyes and
He's making
Bruce-
a run for it. He's right there. He's invisible. Bruce can see him.
so Bruce just tags along and Bruce is like he's like meow. He's just pawing at his leg.
You hear a whisper.
Get away from me! You're gonna blow my cover, you stupid cat!
Meow. 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 And he's just kind of circling his legs and stuff.
Okay. Rudy, it's your turn.
All right. I go to where the cat is,
Okay.
and I want to, and I'm kind of gauging it, but I want to like jump through the air to tackle some invisible force, hopefully. But
Okay.
knowing that he's shorter, so I'm like, I kind of like, rugby tackle. I'm like, I don't jump over him.
Go low.
And
Okay.
I'm like, you're in soccer, when you like, you do the slide
Yeah, like a
tackle.
power slide? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to have you make me an athletics check to catch him. I'm going to give him advantage on his acrobatics check because he is invisible.
All right. 20.
20, I get 19.
Grapple.
Got him.
So you grab onto something and you hear, let go of me, let go. And there's like a small fist pounding against your face very weakly.
Can I use another attack to like rope him up? Or can I just like, because I guess the grapple.
We'll say, your first attack was a grapple. So you could use. We'll say make an attack. I'm gonna say it can't because you're grabbing him and you've got him grabbed. It cancels out the disadvantage from being invisible. If you hit, it'll make him visible.
So just like an unarmed strike.
Yeah.
19.
It's a hit. So you just baff him over the head, and he kind of goes limp and appears. It goes limp and appears.
And I just hold him up in my arms and I say, I found him! Good job, Bruce!
Meow, meow. And Bruce starts gnawing on his toe, like the closest thing he can get. He starts chewing on. He was
where the
promised a
bloody
meal.
stump is from when I cut off his leg.
Is he unconscious now?
He is unconscious, and he's bleeding profusely from the gash in his leg.
All right, I do tourniquet. Is that what it's called? Tourniquet?
Yeah.
His
Bruce
leg,
is lapping up the
case,
blood.
and start wrapping the rope around him.
Let's bring him back to the prisons and tie him up and throw him in with Flint.
We do have a prison down here, don't we? We don't
Yeah,
have to go all the way back to town.
Started a little prison here.
Yeah. Let's just bring him back, ask him some questions, see why he wanted the ducks and what sort of magical mysteries he was concocting down here. I'm curious.
One thing I do know about magic is they gotta have their hands free, right? Some things you can say with, I don't know, wrath. What do we need to make sure that he's not gonna just start spewing some spells at us?
Yeah, I want to take away his first the music box,
Okay.
whatever this thing is. And yeah, we'll disarm him. So like rings, amulets, pendants, trinkets.
I take his staff and I'm going to go toss it in the pool. Is the big fish still in the pool?
Keep that for
Oh yeah,
science.
it's still there. It's thrashing around. The spells that were binding it are broken, and it's starting to turn upside down.
I think we killed the fish.
It's still kind of fluttering and everything like that, but it's very lethargic.
I pop over down here. Oh. And I want to say, I'm like, Sir Fish, do you speak the common tongue? Are you well? It doesn't look well, guys, and I'm guessing here with talking to a fish, but it looks sad.
Could that be what's from the lake?
Maybe we can put it back.
I don't know how. I don't know where it came from.
Well, maybe we can ask this guy and see where it really came from and make him put it back in the right pond if that's what it's
This
from.
problem with ducks and fish.
This menagerie is confusing.
I'm gonna touch it gently, the fish, and I'm gonna speak through it in its mind. I say, "Be calm. I will try to return you to your pool."
The reply that comes back is not in words, but in emotive thought. And and it is like, literally, it sounds like someone spewing a stream of bile at you, but the impression that you get from it in terms of language is someone screaming profanities at you incoherently.
Oh.
This creature is in an intense amount of pain. It is enraged and is confused, and it can only communicate that with rage, anger, and while it is not saying actual profanities, the bile, sludge, mud, pollution, sticky, grime, ugly are like the words that come to your mind as it speaks them.
If looking at the size of it, if I try to like push it towards the pool of water because it's near the ritual, right?
The fish, I'll have it show up here. This is where it is. So there it is.
Oh, it's in the pool.
Yeah.
And
Rats, do you have any spells that can like sprinkle some water on it? It looks like it's not getting enough aqua to help it out.
Whatever was trapping it is gone, but it's stuck here now.
Can we send it back to Wrath? Send it back. Send it home. Go ahead.
Can I use what's his face is tied up, right?
Yeah, he's tied up and unconscious.
You got him, Rudy.
Yeah.
I want to cast Speak with Animals as a ritual.
Okay. This creature is not an animal. It is an elemental creature.
Uh-oh.
And give me an Arcana check.
12.
Okay. Yeah, this is an elemental creature, not an animal. And it is one that, because of that, it understands language, but it doesn't fully communicate in a linguistic way. Its mind doesn't work that way. This is something that you understand because Bruce doesn't actually communicate with language either. Bruce communicates in the ways that Bruce prefers to communicate. You just happen to be able to understand that. So you can communicate it with in a rudimentary way, but its mind itself is too addled to speak.
Wrath, do you have anything? Any ideas? I don't see a way of getting this creature out of here.
Well,
No,
not
only
without
this-
interrogating him.
This gnome might have the answer.
Go
Why
for
it
it.
brought it here is beyond us.
I say we bring him to the cells and question him and see if we can undo the mess that he has made with both our ducks and this water fish.
The in the room, is there like did he have arcane books?
Oh yeah, there's a ton of stuff. In addition to the music box, there's all of his components that he was using for this ritual, which consist of several hoses, some candles, and he has this iron flask as well that is there's this iron flask and this large iron barrel with a wheel on it connected to all of the apparatus. And well, some of the hoses are disconnected, and there is this kind of hissing sound still coming out of them, and you can smell this very faint smell in the air coming out of all of it. He's got a stack of his books, several scrolls, and other arcane ingredients scattered about, as well as several other strange tanks and containers that were all linked together as part of this ritual.
I'm gonna start flipping through the book as we head back to the
I toss him over my
cells.
shoulder.
I'm going to open the flask.
And I take 2 healing potions.
The flask, okay, we'll go back to our main screen here. So Wilhelm, you open up the flask, and as you open it up, you just hear this whistling of air coming up from it. It's a rather strange device. It has this brass stopper on it and a small chain. It's quite strange, actually.
I turn it upside down and see if anything comes out.
Nothing comes out of it. It's completely empty.
Wafting. Is there any scent?
The residual smell of fresh water coming out of it.
Fresh water coming out of it. Like, it doesn't smell like a flask. It smells distinctly like fresh water, like unlike water that you would keep in a flask.
Yeah.
Well, rule number 19, follow your nose. And I'm going to approach the pool. Does the pool, like I kind of lean down towards the pool. Does the pool give off a similar scent?
Yes, but it's masked by all the mud and this black fluid that is covering the koi fish. In fact, this blackened fluid and all these sludge materials are actually emanating from the pores of the koi fish.
I lower the flask into the water and open it just to see if anything. Because we're in a magical place, I just want to see if anything. Wilhelm's testing magic. He doesn't understand how it works, but he's just going to put the flask underwater, open it, and he says, "Magic."
The flask briefly flashes, as if there's this glint of energy, and it sucks some of the water into it, and then spews it back out. It's clearly magical, but it seems like he didn't say the right words.
Wrath, would you know the words? As I'm carrying the thing on my shoulder.
I'm in the midst of chugging health potions.
Water. Rain. Aqua.
Aquarius.
What are other words that are watery?
Aquarius.
Fluid. Geyser. Hot water. Cold water.
No, it doesn't respond to any of these.
Well, and I toss it over to Wrath. I don't know. Worth a shot.
I'm already way over here carrying. I can't carry the guy, but
I'm still browsing through his notebook too.
You flip through the notebook, and you flip to it, and you come to this drawing that resembles the music box, but on a much grander scale. And this design for this music box incorporates a furnace, a water wheel, a stone grinder, and some kind of electrical air fan. And there's a checklist below saying, need one of each elementals for final design. And the page flips over, and it says, The Automated Orchestra by Quindle Nightforge.
He was writing music?
It's a design for a massive orchestra of automatons.
Wilhelm, I think you might want to bring the wheelbarrow.
Okay. Anything in the book about a flask?
Flipping through a little bit more, there is a bill of sale stuffed in the back of the book. It is addressed to Quindle Nightforge for an outrageous sum of money, some 50,000 gold pieces, sold to him courtesy of the Queen.
The Queen?
It is just addressed the Queen. And the letter says, you cannot imagine what lengths we had to go to steal this from the Academy for you. The price is set. 50,000.
For the flask?
Yeah.
Which queen would sell a flask and steal it from the Academy? The Queen of Drakkenheim is
there's been no
dead.
queens around here in long time.
All the queens that I remember in Westamar have been either murdered or hit by a meteor.
It could be a masking name, or
probably
maybe
some
an enemy of the state.
Important figure that thinks she's more important, than her britches.
But 50,000 and stealing from the Amethyst Academy, they'll want this in return. I feel like they'll need this back. They would be interested to see it returned to them.
Perhaps, using logic and piecing together what we know, perhaps Westamar is going to be invaded by a rival queen.
Sounds unlikely.
It does sound unlikely. It's just the best I could do. anything on that piece of paper say anything about a key word for this magic flask? Perhaps.
If I can I do we have time to cast identify on it?
Yeah.
Why
gonna
didn't you
start
say
to-
so?
We're still on our way back to the cells, right?
Yeah. It depends on what you want to do first.
I would love to cast identify on it.
Okay.
Learning its true value.
So as you cast identify, Rudy, what would you like to do? You wanted to take this guy back to the cells.
Yeah, I want to take him back to the cells and kind of like wake him up and get him ready for.
Okay.
I feel like
Questions that I may
while you're
have.
doing that, Wrath and Wilhelm are just like gathered around all of these trinkets, and Wilhelm, like not knowing magic, is just trying his best to understand. And you're like carrying this dude back to the cells, and we're like, "What do?"
Come over when you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Can I walk and do the ritual or no?
You have to do it in one place, but you can head
Okay.
back with them and do the ritual there. You're not
Okay.
bound to do it in any one place.
Okay.
We'll come back for you, koi fish.
Yeah,
Where would you
it'll be
like to
fine.
go, Wrath? Are we going or
We
staying?
can do it in the with Flint
All
once
right.
we secure the prisoner.
Walk in the room. Flint, we're back. See, we didn't leave you.
And we'll put him in the other cell
Whoa.
next to Flint.
And he sees Quindle. Whoa! He didn't kill you. Can I eat his legs?
We'll
Well,
get to
there's-
that.
One
I
of them
didn't
that
think-
was left in the other room.
I'll be
so-
honest. I didn't think you'd ever come back. I was already starting to get desperate, and he holds up the finger that he was gnawing on.
It's only been like not that long.
Flint, it's been like
I'm a
10
grown
minutes.
boy. I get hungry.
Flint, I told you we're going to let you out of here. We just had to check things out.
Did we let him out?
Are you gonna let me out?
Flint, if we let you out, do you promise to take your goblins and not come this close to Tierhaven ever again?
No, but I probably won't if I value my life.
You saw that 3 of us took out an entire camp of your goblins, imprisoned you, murdered this mage. What chance do you have? If we catch you near Tierhaven and any of your friends, there will be hell to pay.
Well, how about you do me a favor? Why don't you leave us some of your garbage for us to eat?
Tell you what, when we go to feed the ducks at the pond, we will leave some garbage in a satchel by the tree, and you can pick it up there, and that way we
You
just
want
don't...
them coming near our ducks?
Actually, yeah, they might eat the ducks.
Don't let them eat the ducks.
Can
No,
I-
you just get out of here. You just get right on out of town,
And-
and I won't chase you down and cut your head off.
I think
You're go-
Flint's freedom should be decided another day. For now, we must figure out the.
Should we
Means of
gag him
this
while we're
mage.
talking to this other guy?
You throw a sack over his head.
Yeah. I think that's a wise decision.
Flint's quite loud.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is. Okay. I think we are at 7:20. I think this is a perfect time to take a break. And then we will come back and find out what happens next.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
And we are back from our break. We have taken our short rest and are ready to keep playing.
Joe, what kind of music are we listening to?
Wouldn't you like to know? And you will. So I want to give a big shout out to Tabletop Audio. As always, they have been providing our ambient noise and soundtracks for when we were playing live in the basement studio. And now they delight us at home. Please check it out on your own, tabletopaudio.com. It's all free. And a big shout out for their amazing curated intro music.
And of course, don't forget to look at the links below for our Teespring store where you can find all of your favorite Dungeon Dudes t-shirts, including, now that we know why it's way bigger than ducks, and all of your classic
bigger.
faves. You can check out bit.ly/Dungeon Dudes merch.
Also, if you are enjoying the stream and you want to help support our work, please check us out on Patreon. We have a wonderful Patreon that actually is has been really beneficial for us to actually keep this game going, especially in these times. So thank you so much for those who have joined our Patreon, and even those of you who are just showing up to watch us. Thank you so much. But you could check us out on Patreon by following the links below or at patreon.com/dungeon_dudes. And as a bonus for those of who do join our Patreon, you get access to our phenomenal Discord community, which is exclusively for patrons, where you can discuss role-playing games, talk to us about all of your nerdy endeavors, and ask us D&D related questions. And we just have a blast in there talking about all sorts of things. So join us on Patreon and in Discord.
And of course, be sure to check out, head on over to brothersforge.ca. These are some awesome, another group of Canadians. They just launched on Kickstarter with their awesome rod of initiative. They sent us one with custom engraved. It's really gorgeous, and I am totally loving it. It's like like tracking initiative like this. This is my first time actually using it in a game, and it's probably the best. Like, it was so much faster than that. So they just launched on Kickstarter for these awesome magnetic towers. So check them out. They've sponsored videos on our channel, and they'll be here I think they're running for the next month on Kickstarter. So definitely check them out. Big thanks to them for sponsoring our episodes this month. With that, let us return. So we are back in you have brought your erstwhile prisoners back to the cells underneath the tower, where you have now so let's bring it up. Here we go. So back down over here, you got Flint locked away in one of the cells with a bag over his head, and you have Quindle Nightforge unconscious in the other cell with a group of you all around. I'm gonna say you can also take this opportunity yourselves to take a short rest as well in game. So if you want to spend any hit dice, recuperate any hit points, you have the time now to do that. It might take Quindle a little while to recuperate here as well.
You guys down? Short rest?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need it.
All right.
And over the time, the only other thing that you've been able to figure out, you haven't explored this, but you can tell this now, is that there is a room in this area here that the trap door from up here might have been connecting to. So this and this are connected in some way, but you haven't explored that room yet. With that, Quindle groggily begins to awaken. What do you do?
I'm going to start performing the identify ritual on his... Or can I do it during the short rest?
Yeah, I'll technically no, but I'll say that you guys have taken enough of a break that you can. Do you want me to start with the results of the ritual, or shall we...
What else?
Okay.
Anyone else want to do something?
Yeah, no, I'd like to know what the flask is.
Okay.
You have no interest in the flask.
This item is an extremely powerful magical object known as an iron flask. It is called an iron flask. Its power is that it can trap elemental beings. So by holding the flask out towards an elemental being and speaking the command word of the flask, it draws the elemental creature into the flask and traps them inside it.
Oh.
Well,
Pretty powerful stuff to have kicking around here even.
so we need to know what the command word is. We need to wake him up, get the command word out of him, and then we can save the fish, and we need to figure out why he brought all the ducks here and what he wanted. Wait a second.
Wrath, what you determined, though, is that there are iron flasks that are more powerful than this one. This one is attuned only to elemental creatures, so it will only trap an elemental being, whereas there are other iron flasks that can trap beings of any extraplanar or spiritual essence. So this one will only trap an elemental. And it does not impart control of that creature. It simply traps it.
Is there a possibility that this elemental creature, even though we've never seen it before, came from the pond near Tierhaven?
Sounds like the most likely result of connection to why the water stopped and why the ducks may be flocking to it.
Perhaps the ducks are drawn to this creature. He went to the pond near Tierhaven, took something from it, trudged back here, and was doing wild experiments. If we can find out the command word and bring this creature back to our pond, the ducks will return as well.
Well, as long as it stops spewing that stuff that's coming out of it.
Yes.
Gotta
We'll
make sure
need
it doesn't
answers.
hurt the lake more than it helps. But I think, you know what? Flint's done his time. I think as sheriff of this town, I say we let him be. Get him out of here.
I agree.
No sooner those words are spoken, and that you open the cage and take the sack off his head, that he bolts and he says, "Bye, thanks, see you later."
And I'm like, better never see you in this town again.
Should never see you again.
Same
Flint.
to you.
Say what I need to say.
Tell your friends not to do it. Yeah, he's gone.
Oh, he's gone.
He's gone.
Oh,
With that, Quindle Nightforge awakens.
Ah! You cannot keep me in this cage! There is no cage that can contain my true might and arcane power! Ah! Yeah!
Wilhelm threw your staff in the water.
Yes, okay, leave the cage then.
And he keeps going,
Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt!
Let me know when you're finished.
He'll tire himself out.
Let 15 minutes pass of him doing that.
Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt!
Are you done yet?
Magic missile!
No. You have no spell thingies. Raph, you do the talk. I don't know. You have no spells and books, and I threw a staff somewhere. I don't know. You're not
Listen.
magical.
We have questions for you, little one.
Questions?
This flask.
Any answer that I would give you would be far too incomprehensible for your puny minds to even fathom. Ah!
What does the flask do?
Well,
Why did you have this flask?
he begins.
I'll tell you. The flask is an arcane focus,
And he goes into this very long-winded explanation that explains the raw elemental arcane science behind the underlying principles. And he quotes and he says,
it's all according to Bigby's theory. Of course, the theories, of Rary contradicted it, and this one particularly, you have no idea the expense and that I went to acquire it. It's mine. You will give it back to me.
My friend,
I put my hand up and I'm like, sir, 10 words or less or you're going to get a rap on the knuckles. All right?
How do you expect me to contain such intricate dialogue about the entire
Ed, I'm
plains
hurting.
in only 10 words?
my good
And I go
friend.
through the bars and I whack his knuckles. I'm just like, I told you. Listen, you're smart enough to figure it out. 10 words or less. You better answer our questions.
You seem a pretty wise fellow. Am I correct in saying that? Remember, 10 words or less. Simple answers for us less fortunate folk. You
You're
are
all
intelligent.
idiots. How's that for 10 words?
Would you say that you have such a good intellect that you would have a photographic memory?
Of course. I never forget anything, and I'm never going to forget your faces.
Well, perhaps a game of wits then. How many ducks resided in the pond that you visited before coming here? If you get the answer right,
Hogwash. 174.
173.
You lie. I
That
counted
is-
them.
Those are the ducks that are left because the goblins ate one.
A mere technicality.
But a false answer nonetheless on how many ducks there are that reside in that pond, as one has been deceased.
Your logic is sound. Fine. I will answer your next question.
What is the command word for the flask?
The command word. Well, wouldn't you like to know? Of course. You see, it is actually a very intricate sort of arcane premise, and I cannot
I
explain
whack
it.
him on the knuckles.
Wham!
A simple one-word answer should do, or as many words as are included in the commanding of this flask.
That's just it, though. It's more complicated than that. Ugh.
Wrath, could you talk to him about the intricacies of the magic of this flask?
The command word of the flask is the true name of the being that you wish to trap in it.
And obviously you trapped our elemental friend in there.
Yes,
And you know its true name?
I do. It was very easy to deduce, even for a simpleton such as yourself. The creature makes no task of hiding its true name at all.
What's
All
its
right.
true name?
You will give us the true name if you cannot answer this simple question. What is the Sheriff of Tierhaven's name?
Rudy Whittaker.
False.
I have
My
paid...
full name is Rudicell Whitaker.
No one calls you that. I've paid
That's a
attention to
technical.
your town. I found out all the names of the prominent people there. How do you think I found out the true name of the elemental?
Asking it?
Why did you take this elemental?
It's an essential component for my great work, the automated orchestra.
Now, you went and disrupted the duck feast that was going to occur by moving the elemental. You have disrupted an entire town's ecosystem that relies on the existence of ducks.
A small price to pay for the truly elemental symphony that my engineering might and musical intellect will conjure forth. It's a small price to pay. I'll even give everyone in the town free tickets.
You see like a dark shadow fall over my face and I'm like, you interrupted our duck feast for an orchestra. Slap you on the wrist.
And I lean over and I'm like, Rudy, we could use better music at the Duck Festival. You know that.
A small...
Not at the price of the ducks. Not at the price of the ducks.
But a technicality. I never stole the ducks from you. I didn't even take them. They just followed me here. They're free-willed beings, of course. You can't stop them from doing what they do. I didn't steal them.
Stole something that caused a whole ruckus at that pond. You should see it now. It looks like garbage. Garbage.
Well, go
Team
ahead
Huddle.
and take the ducks. I don't care. You already
Okay.
disrupted my ritual. You've set me back weeks. You destroyed my protectors. You ran off my goblin. Do you have any idea how much I've spent so far on my mission?
$50,000
Indeed, far more than that. A greater sum than you could even fathom in a single lifetime.
Whoever charged you 50,000 must be such a smart person, much smarter than you, for being able to charge 50,000 for a flask. Who was it that you bought this from that clearly outwitted you in a game of
As vast
Commerce.
as my intellect might
commerce?
As vast as my intellect might be, I know a dangerous foe, and I know an enemy that I do not want to make. That is the Amethyst Academy. But they had what I needed, and they weren't going to sell it to me, so I went to an intermediary who could get what I needed.
But there are no queens in Westamar.
No,
After the Civil War, the royal family is all but crumbled.
that's where you're wrong, friend. There's the Queen of Thieves, a master thief who can steal anything from anyone, even the Amethyst Academy. It was her who procured the iron flask for me.
A queen of thieves, you say?
Indeed.
My sword has downed many a thief in my day. Whether
Also-
they be queen or whatever.
I point to Raph and I say, you know he works for the Academy and they're gonna find out about this.
I'll have to report it.
Oh no.
Now,
Yeah.
we don't have to report it circumstantially if you can help us set it back straight and never come back to Tearhaven, touch our elemental again. Those are sacred spirits that you're dealing with, and it ain't no game.
Oh, please,
fallout.
that's no sacred spirit. It's just a water elemental. They're just... Elemental creatures in our plane are rather hard to come by, and yours was conveniently located.
Well, you'll have to find another one. If you undo the mistakes you've made to Tearhaven, we will let you go and not report you to the Amethyst Academy. Otherwise, you may be thrown in magical prison. Wrath, is there a magical prison?
The prison that he will be succumb to is more terrifying than anything he could imagine. And I'm going to hold up the bill, the receipt. The one thing you shouldn't have done is left the paper trail.
I needed it for my income tax return.
Fair. What say you to our deal?
You've set me back weeks. Months,
Yes.
even.
Ooh.
I'll be the greatest embarrassment in all of Clockwork City.
True.
Have you guys... I want to go to Clockwork City.
I've
That
never
sounds
heard
fun.
of
Well, you
Clockwork
can't. It's
City.
only
I
for
didn't know it was
gnomes
a
and it's
place.
deep underneath the earth.
Why would I want to go there?
I'm writing down goal in life bucket list. Visit Clockwork City.
See if they can get out of the barn, Wilhelm.
You're interested in Clockwork City, the wonders of the gnomish people.
Right now, I'm worried about you
Not really.
returning this water elemental.
And the ducks.
Listen,
Truly, the
You-
wonders of Clockwork City. I could offer them to you if you just let me keep the elemental.
No.
Yeah.
I've found many places not on the map before. I don't know if I have. I've just traveled a very little bit. But I will find it someday. All I want from you is to return things to the way they were, and you can find another water elemental that does not disrupt duck season. Duck fest.
Duckapalooza.
What if I waited to the
Duckapalooza.
end of your duck fest and then took the elemental?
No.
It would still disrupt. We have the duck fest every year. The water elemental
Annual
remains
tradition.
because the ducks are drawn to it. So you see, Tearhaven enjoys having the ducks. They are kind of a symbol of our town, and you're taking away from a lot of people's enjoyment and natural pleasure here. You seem a decent fellow. I'd hate to kill you. I just really wanted to say that. You seem a decent fellow. I don't see why we can't come to an agreement that makes all parties happy.
I
You
am a
don't
decent
end-
fellow, and I would hate to die. But you leave me with very few options. So, I will tell you this. If you do not give me that elemental, I will return to your little city and embarrass you all in the most unfathomable, unpredictable way you can ever imagine.
if I ever see you in this town again, little man, I hope you can comprehend that my cat has got a taste for your blood, and he would enjoy eating you with a side of mushrooms.
Which elemental are we talking about? There's more than one. What was the name of it?
The creature of the pond. There's only one elemental creature.
Yeah, what was its name? I missed that part.
What's the name of the pond, you dunce?
I mean, we should know this, right?
You should. The name of the
What was
pond
it
is
again?
Lyrand Pond.
Lyrand. Lyrand? You mean to say Lyrand?
Rudy, hand me Raph, can I see the flask for a moment?
Sure.
I'm going to walk all the way back, open up the flask, and say, Lyran.
The koi fish is sucked into the flask.
I return to the room, and I'm like, well, thank you for the answer. Now, what was that about you returning to town to torment us?
Oh.
Very well. Is that how it's going to be? Rudy, Raph, I think I need to step out of the room for a minute, just check on a few things. If I come back and...
No, wait. You don't need to leave me with her. She's got scary, crazy eyes underneath that face. I'll go.
we're not leaving you with anybody else.
I'll go. Just you let the goblin go.
The goblin didn't do no harm.
And he didn't threaten to come back.
May have killed a few people, but
He killed a few ducks.
listen, Cogsworth?
No,
no, Quindle.
What's his name?
Quindle.
Quindle. Listen, Quindle. You are embarrassment to the Amethyst Academy.
I'm not a member
You
of the
are-
Amethyst Academy.
You are a traitor to those who seek magic for knowledge. And you will be punished if you ever return to our small city. We will be returning things to normal. I will keep the flask. And if I ever see you in this place again, my cat will eat you.
He looks at Bruce. Bruce licks his chops. and I will have you all make me a group intimidation check.
Woo. I'm not very intimidating. I'm too kind. Oh, man.
19?
15.
Actually pretty good.
Apparently, me silently smoking my pipe in the background got me a 23.
Hey.
He stoops down on the bench.
Fine. So be it.
Just so's you knows, you aren't getting that flask back.
And just in case you have any bright ideas about coming back to Tierhaven, Rudy, what was it that they called you during the war?
The
The Red Hunter?
Red Huntsman.
The Red Huntsman, and why was that?
Very well. I
This
shall
nose
never
forgets.
come back to Tierhaven. But should I ever run into you again outside this forest,
Then I challenge you to a duel on that day.
I mean, why would I ever
Very
leave this
well.
forest? My family's here. My life is here. I ain't got no reason to leave.
Yeah,
I'll be
we're
here for
not
a long
leaving
time.
anytime soon. Why would we go anywhere? Like, home is where the heart is, and my heart is in Tierhaven.
I'm going to keep the receipt, but I return his books.
Very well.
And I keep his flask.
We definitely keep the flask. That's going back to the Amethyst Academy.
After we
He
release.
goes back to he when you release him, he's gonna go back to his cave and said,
I'm repairing my things and taking my cart, and I will go. I'll be gone by sundown.
Good. Any other magical mysteries in your cavern here, or
Gotta check that one room, that latch.
well, he's packing his things.
that is his bedroom.
Oh,
I don't. Oh,
Oh, sorry. Oh,
we open. We're like, we're gonna go poke. Oh, these are personal things. Very
I
well.
just want to head outside and
yeah.
Which,
see if we can lure the ducks back.
Which
Oh, is there anything
incidentally,
in there too?
as he goes back to his room, the a few of the objects in the room help him pack up. As his carpet animates and rolls itself up, again his chest starts packing things up and putting things into its open chest mouth, and a suit of armor starts picking up things for him and gathering them up.
Wilhelm leans in the doorway and looks in, and is like, I'm sure glad we didn't go in that room by accident. Do you guys want to
Sorry.
return a water elemental to a pond?
What time is it? We go outside and I like measure where the sun is, if there's any sun, or the moon.
It's getting towards the evening now. Yeah,
And when's the duck festival?
it's still a few days away.
Oh, okay. I was like, we gotta rush and get them ducks back. Well, we should rush and get them ducks back and get them eggies all warmed up for the next generation of duck festive pies.
Yes. Well, let's head back to Liren's pond, shall we?
See if we
Alright.
can reverse the damage.
As you bring the flask containing Lyran in the flask,
Lyran.
the ducks begin flocking and following you through the forest as you leave from the pond and back towards as you leave from the tower heading back towards the pond. And so this chorus of quacking follows you as you leave the tower. And
The song of A job well done.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the ducks thank us on this day.
Mm-hmm. As you walk through the forest, the flask is leaking sludge. Oozing
there's a
out
problem.
from the
Wilhelm.
stopper. It leaks out from it with drips of the water, and the flask kind of shakes unstably. When you arrive back at the pond, there's a trail of this sludge and mud behind you. There, the ducks take to the stand in a circle around the pond, watching patiently as you prepare to open the flask.
I hope this works out the way that we imagined it to.
I hope so too.
Because, I mean, we've dealt with enough problems today. I'm used to just having to shoot the ducks back into a pen. I've never had to deal with elementals or sludge in a flask. Here goes nothing. Bottoms up, and I undo the flask, and I do I have to say the command word again?
Yes.
So I open up the flask and I say, Lyran, 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 Lyran.
Byron.
Okay. Here we are at the pond.
I love it when we have a new map. That's a good sign.
Means you did everything perfectly.
Okay. So you stand at the edge of the pond and release Lyran back out into the shallows. As the fish lands in the water with a big flump, you can see it as it bucks out through the water and begins retching out streams and streams of mud and corruption and bile, forming a sludge that is pooling out around the pool itself. As it does so, as the mud hits the pond, the magical energies of the pond spring them into life, and they form into these awful little creatures resembling part imp, part duck, all mud. Roll for initiative.
Ah!
What? I thought we had one.
14.
13.
9.
Who got last?
Sorry, Wilhelm?
13.
13? Okay. And
I got 14.
14 for Rudy? And Ralph?
And 9. 9 for Wrath.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. So, there we go. Nice. The creatures lift up off the ground, borne on wings of mud, and they begin making this awful sound that is a mix between a quack and a croak. Quack, 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 quack. And as they do so, they flutter about the pond, and the first one does this regurgitative thing. Its throat goes back and it goes, and it vomits a cavalcade of mud over Rudy and Wilhelm. Both of you can give me dexterity saving throws.
21. Yes.
23.
Both of you manage to dive out of the way and are not restrained by the mud.
Oh.
Rudy, what are you going to do? You see before you Lyran struggling, screeching, and it is the song of Lyran Pond, it is speaking in this dissonant tone that is more like a cacophony of screeches rather than a soft song. And as the ducks hear it, they all start quacking as well in a panic, and all the ducks start flying around the whole area in this chaos of waterfowl freaking out in a chorus.
Ah, that racket! See what you done, mud ducks? You done this! And I start attacking the closest mud duck to me. So I'm gonna take three shots at it with my battle axes. Houdini's there helping me out, kind of getting his feet all muddy. 20 to hit.
That is a hit.
9 damage on the first. Ooh, another good one. 25 to hit on the second for, oh, good. 12 damage.
Okay.
And then-
Chop. Oop. Chop,
Oh.
chop.
22 to hit.
Also a hit.
For 6 damage. And then I'm gonna action surge.
It is destroyed. Actually.
All right, wait.
Wah!
Is there another close one? How deep is the water?
The water is difficult terrain. As soon as it gets to being the light blue area is difficult ground. The dark blue you have to swim.
Okay, so if I can stay in the light, I just have to go 10 feet. So, and I only use 5, 10 of my movement, so I should be good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Does the math work out there? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, come up! And I action surge, and I hit it twice. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, 16 hit.
A hit.
10 damage. Oh, I'm just whacking these things. Pow, pow. And that's another hit with 25 for 10 damage.
It is also destroyed in a splatter of mud. It flutters down into the water of the pool. Can you roll me a
Yeah,
d6, please?
Woo! 4.
As the mud collapses and touches the water of Lyran Pond, though this one is destroyed, it splits in half, collides with the mud, and the mud immediately animates and forms 2 more.
Guys, we have a problem.
Already.
Don't let them touch the water.
We need to lure them out of the water?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, indeed. Anyways, that's my turn.
With that, Wilhelm, it is your turn.
Oh, this is berries. Looking upon Lyran, does Lyran seem hostile towards us, or does Lyran seem more in pain trying to deal with these?
Lyran reminds you of a rabid animal panicking after being shot by a bow. Like when you go hunting for a stag and it's sick and hit by a arrow and it's dying. It's in a frenzy. Lyran is in a frenzied state. You can see the corruption coursing through it. Whatever that fluid that Quindle Nightforge was using as part of his ritual is in Lyran's body.
Well, I'm not much for extracting, so I guess I'll just poke a hole in it and see what happens. I'm going to stab Lyran.
Okay.
What in tarnation are you doing?
I'm trying to cure it with a sword. It's the only way I know how. I didn't go to school for this.
You need to study your medicine more!
If I puncture holes in it, perhaps it will ooze out the contamination quicker as I'm thrusting my blade, and I get a 15 to hit.
15 to hit. That is a hit.
Yeah. Nice. I'm going to use my my swashbuckler sneak attack.
Okay.
Doing 23 damage.
Nice.
And then
Lyran's
I'm going
elemental
to,
nature seems to make it resist your weapons, but it is still damaged by it. And as it does so, a stream of a part of it pops, like pus popping out of a pimple, exploding out with a shower of mud. Roll a d6.
I got a 1.
Okay. A 1.
Oh no, that laugh.
The result of this is unfathomable. It keeps coming. I don't know if you... it's like...
Evil Dead 2 when he shoots the wall.
It's like a cyst that just keeps spewing and spewing and spewing bile out.
So I puncture and I'm like, ah, and then it just starts spraying bile into my face, and we're both just there.
Yeah.
Ah,
Give
and
me a
there's like
dexterity
bile.
saving throw.
Ah,
Oh.
dexterity
Ew.
saving throw. 23.
Okay. You leap out of the way as the bile and the mud reaches into the bank of the sand, forming more mud, picking up sticks, parts of one of the nests of the ducks, the lilies from the pond, and it raises up into this shambling mound of mud, pond plants, and vile corruption that smells of gasoline. As this happens, the corruption is out of Lyran's body, and Lyran falls limp in the pond itself, just kind of fluttering slightly in the water. But in Lyran's place is this horrible creature.
I back up, and as this thing is coming out and like the bile is spraying everywhere, I move backwards and pull out my crossbow and just fire a shot at this forming mound in an attempt to down it. It will probably just eat my bolt, but so
And
I get a 14 to hit.
Add it into the initiative order. Lyran is effectively incapacitated at this point, so we will see what happens. Lyran, with what has happened, Lyran is effectively dying. So I'm going to roll death saving throws from Lyran until you guys get this situation under control. But I am not going to tell you what the results are. Okay.
What did I just say I got to hit?
I forget. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to roll it again.
Okay.
Give it a healing potion.
Do either of you guys remember? I just said it, but I picked up the dice, and now I feel stupid. Was it a...
That's okay.
Oh,
I
well.
was focused on the dying elemental and the duck Duckapalooza.
I get a 22 to hit this time.
Okay. That is a hit.
Oh, that's great. I do 5 damage.
All right. Every little bit helps.
Yeah. And yeah, I move back.
Okay. So next up in our order, we have Lyran, who is dying. Okay. It gurgles and twitches a little bit. Wrath, it is your turn.
I am going to... So I see this corruption leaving Lyran. Is it pretty obvious that this creature is dying? Like it's not like just a
it's like the
thrashing
fish is turning upside
elemental.
down.
Ah! And I'm gonna kind of run and jump into the water
Okay.
and try to reach Lyran. Can I reach him with my movement?
Yep, I think you can.
You should be able to.
And I place my hand on Lyran, and I use my healing hands as an action. And I restore 5 hit points.
Okay, Lyran is in a bad way, but wakes up and the fish begins to flutter. The healing energy has stabilized it somewhat, but it's still fighting for its life. It might need a little bit more than just this to keep it going. It's corruption, but it's a step in the right direction. Well done. Anything else you'd like to do?
I'm gonna cast a hex on the big thing.
The corruption.
The corruption that came out of Lyran, and he has disadvantage on strength.
Sure.
Ability checks. Okay.
Okay. Well, it is this thing's turn, and seeing you coming right up near it, it is going to make its slam attacks against you. It reaches out, blob, getting a critical hit.
Ow!
And so that is going to be 20 points of bludgeoning damage, and it begins pulling you into its body.
I don't want to be in here.
Okay, it pulls you into its body, and you will have to escape it. You are inside though. You are blinded and restrained and unable to breathe.
Oh.
And with that, we go to the top of the round with the flying grooves. So they flutter around, and these two are going to fly over to Rudy. This one is going to fly over to Wilhelm.
No!
And they will attack Wilhelm. I get an 18 and an 11. And Rudy, I get a 16 and a 15.
No.
Wilhelm, you take 5 points of bludgeoning damage.
I'm going to half that. Why not?
And Rudy, it is your turn. You just saw Wrath heal Lyran and then get drawn into this mound of mud.
You know what? I'm like, we can't hit him in the water. So I actually start running towards the other side of this thing to kind of lure them out, taking opportunity attacks.
Oh, and Wrath, I need a concentration check for Hex. It's DC 10.
Oh, yeah. I got 23.
Okay, you're good.
Ooh.
So I take 2 opportunity attacks from those guys.
I get a 16 and a 9.
Nope.
Okay.
All right. I kind of dodge out of the way and say, "We've got to lower them out of the water." And I then just start whacking him a bit. And I was trying to start tearing this thing apart.
Nice.
Attempting to get you out of the sludge. All right. Houdini help. 12.
12 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
That is a miss.
Another
Just
21.
Splatters through the mud. That goes through.
The 12 almost hits
6.
me. It comes through. Ah!
6 damage. And then the third with my good arm. 20 to hit.
Also a hit. Slicing through the mud and the
7
vine.
damage.
Just cutting your way into this thing. It doesn't even notice. It's relentless. It doesn't feel pain. Wilhelm, we're over to you.
Wilhelm is kind of running in a circle while these mud ducks are like flying at his head. And the one problem with having an eye patch is I'm not very good at fighting multiple targets. They always are on my blind side, and I'm going to try to thrust the rapier up towards the one right in front of me.
Okay.
$25 to hit.
It's going to do it.
But I cannot get my sneak attack because there are multiple targets.
Okay.
So that's going to be 7 damage.
Okay.
And then I'm going to attempt to shoot the same target. 24 to hit. So that's going to be another 9 damage.
It is destroyed. It collapses to the ground and bursts open with mud. Make a dexterity saving throw.
17.
You are not restrained in the burst of mud, and with that, with no water to touch, the mud slinks away and seeps back into the earth.
Figured it out.
No water. No water.
Anything else, Wilhelm?
That's going to be it for me.
Okay. Lyrind is still struggling in the water, but seems to be holding on for now.
Lyrind! Hold on, everybody!
Wrath, it is your turn. You are engulfed by this creature. What are you going to do?
Is Lyran near me?
Lyrind is right beside you, yeah.
Can I touch him?
Okay.
Arm out of the mud.
I
Just
reach
one
out
arm out.
blindly and I grab Lyran and I go, hold on, buddy. And I'm going to thunder step.
So the only problem with that is that you're blinded. So you cannot see
I
anywhere
can't.
to thunder step to.
Get out of there!
It was a good idea.
Was a good idea. But yeah,
Okay,
you gotta,
well then I am going to... Can I Eldritch Blast my way out?
Sure.
Why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah. You will have disadvantage on your attacks as you're inside it, but go for it.
Okay, I'm going to try to Eldritch Blast my way out of this creature. I get a 15.
A hit?
And it's still hexed, right?
Yep.
Oh, baby. 17 damage.
So you just see the beams firing out of it, Rudy, from the outside. You just see...
I go, "Destroy!"
I'm over here! Don't fire him this way!
Oh, and an 11.
That is a miss, I'm afraid. Okay,
So I'm
you're
just-
still in this thing, and you cannot breathe. Now, you can hold your breath for a number of rounds equal to your Constitution score, but I do need to need you to give me a Constitution saving throw. Sorry, this is not till the mound's turn itself.
Okay.
Which is now. So now I need it.
I got a 17.
Okay, you are good. It tries to crush you, but you manage to resist it. So the creature is going to lumber forward, and it is going to slam Rudy. And it gets a 17 and a 15 to hit.
17 hits.
17 does hit. Okay. So Rudy, its meaty, muddy fist comes down on you for 14 points of damage. Crash.
I get a mud slap in the face.
Yep. With a wet, muddy blap. Okay. And with that, we go to the top of the round with the motes of corruption. The two of them, they stay fluttering over the water. Their abilities don't come back. Okay, so they fly over to you, Rudy, and they're going to attack you, getting a 15 and a 9.
Oh.
And Wilhelm, I get a 19 against you.
Ah, nuts. He was in my blind
For
spot.
6 points of damage.
I
So they
have it.
flutter and they pound at you with their fist, making the awful, like, croaking quack noise. Quack, quack.
Stop it! Get out of my hair!
How many turns do you have left, Raph?
You.
Yeah, okay.
I have a pretty good con score.
Rudy,
I mean, each
it
round is
your
6
turn.
seconds.
I can hold
You
my.
do it.
I can hold my.
All right, I say, hold on, Raph! And I turn around and I start whacking on the two little guys, because now they're off the water. So I'll get Houdini to come on this side. Help me out, Houdini! Oh, good thing I did that. 20 to hit.
On the little guy or the big guy?
Little guy.
Little guy, that's a hit.
9 damage.
Okay.
Second hit. Crit! Yes!
That's probably going to take him out right there.
Well, yeah, that would be 12 plus 5.
He lands on the ground with a wet plop and bursts in a shower of mud. Make a dexterity saving throw.
5.
Okay. The mud sinks into the sand around the pond, and you are now restrained, Rudy.
Interesting. And I'm assuming I can't attack while I'm...
Nope.
Can
you
I can
can't
attack.
move, but your attacks have disadvantage, and attacks against you have advantage.
Okay. Is the other little guy within reach?
He is.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna take my last shot on him.
Okay.
Just be like, because I can't move my feet, so I'm off balance. Oh, disadvantage. Hold on. 20.
Still a hit. Well done.
Yes, 11 damage.
Nice.
Yes.
You chop into it, and splatters of mud splatter across your face like blood.
This is not. I am not revived by by mud. Only blood.
I need
Wilhelm,
blood.
It is your turn.
Now that there's only one of them, I'm like watching its movements and I'm waiting for the right moment. And just as I catch its movement, I strike up with the rapier, critting.
There it is.
Yes.
Probably going to be destroyed.
Yeah, so I'm going to use my sneak attack, and I'm going to crit with my sneak attack, and so forth and so on.
So that's going to be, that's...
A lot.
Do you want to roll it, though, and see how much damage it was? Yeah, because it
kinda do.
feels good to roll dice.
Yeah, it does. So what's my total here? So with
So-
the rapier, I got a D8, so that's 8 plus 4. So
So
plus
that-
the 3d6.
So that's going to be 30 plus whatever you roll on the D8 and the 3d6.
So that's going to be 47 damage.
So that's
I'm-
over double its hit points.
So
Damn.
I pause, and you see me like breathe in as I like get my blade ready, and I'm just like lining it up, and then it moves right into position, and I strike up and just skewer
And
it.
it explodes like a bubble popping.
And I have to.
Covering you in a shower of mud. Make a dexterity saving throw.
Classic.
I get a 12.
You manage to roll out of the way, and you're not
Ha!
restrained.
And then as I finish the roll, I pull out my crossbow and fire at the one that Rudy was attacking.
Okay, it's fluttering by her.
I have mud on my eyes.
21 to hit,
Nice.
Nice.
doing 8 damage.
Pop! And a shower of mud covers Rudy.
I'm already restrained.
Yeah.
Just covered in the sticky mud.
You just hear, like, I'm spitting out the
Yeah.
mud and like,
That's it for my turn. Actually, well, you know what? I'll move a little bit closer.
Okay. Lyrand is still holding on. Wrath, it is your turn. You are still engulfed and restrained and blinded. And unable to breathe.
Perfect. Right where I want to be. I continue to wildly flail and shoot eldritch blasts into its body.
Okay, you do so with disadvantage.
Oh yeah, 20. I don't even need Bruce anymore. I didn't say that. I did not say that.
You didn't.
oh. You gonna remember that?
Oh, see, this is the punishment. 8 damage.
Okay.
And then my second attack. Crit turned into a 26.
Ah.
Well, still a hit.
I'll take it.
Don't forget the d6 for hex.
Oh, there we go. 19 damage.
Nice. The beams fire out from it, but it continues on relentlessly.
Oh, Oh,
Okay.
and that's my turn.
At the start of its turn, I need a Constitution saving throw from you, Wrath.
Oh, 22.
Aw. I was gonna do like. Sure, you don't want to.
What do you want to do here? Come on.
You sure you don't want to get crushed for another 15 damage? All right.
I'm just like holding, fighting off these like tendrils and.
Okay. Well, the mound's gonna do this.
Things.
It's gonna move into the water.
No.
As it does so, it's gonna slap Rudy with advantage, getting a 19 to hit.
Yeah.
For 13 damage, and it drags Wrath into the water.
Do I get an opportunity attack?
You do. It's gonna make one more slam attack against you as well, Rudy. Getting only a 15 to hit though.
Nah. All right. I disadvantage it.
I'm just part of it now.
Oh, still 17, 13 disadvantages are great.
It sinks back into the water.
I hit it on the opportunity attack for 10 damage.
Okay. Cut into it as it retreats backward.
As I'm blinded by mud.
Top of the round, I have no grooves left. So, Rudy, it is your turn. You are restrained.
I'm gonna, since it's not near me, try to get out of this restrain.
Okay.
Strength?
Yep.
Saving throw or just check?
Yep.
Saving throw. 14?
You bust out.
Yeah.
Could I? That's my action. I can't go grab Wrath, right?
Yep, that's your action.
Okay. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna stay. Well, will a potion do anything for Lyra?
You can certainly try.
I'm gonna try to pour my last potion on him and be like, "Here you go, buddy."
Yeah, but it's still an action to administer the potion.
Oh no, I can't. Okay, yeah, you're right. I pat him on the head and say, "We're coming for you. Don't worry."
Okay.
That's all I can do.
Wilhelm, we're over to you, buddy.
All right.
Actually, can Houdini fly over and help with
Yep.
Wilhelm?
Yep.
Okay.
So
Houdini's
I
gonna help me.
run, I charge, rapier out, and I let out a Wilhelm scream as I plummet into the water. And I'm like, Wrath, I don't know where you are. And I just start stabbing into the
Bubble.
I hope this isn't hurting you. I get a 17 to hit. And can I gain sneak attack on this thing?
Yeah, because Rudy gave you advantage because Houdini helped.
Oh, right. Hold on. Let me roll the advantage. Oh, that was a 19, not a 20. Still a hit. So let's get sneak attack.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Roll it!
I do 15 damage.
Nice.
And then that was I think 25 feet because 30's in there.
Mhm.
So I'm going to move back 5 feet and take a shot with my crossbow. Getting 11.
Bounces off the mud. Roll me a d6.
I got a 1.
Okay. As you stab into it, a blob of mud bursts up out of the creature, forming a smaller mud puddle right there and animating into the water. Here it is there.
Oh. Killing mud is hard.
Lyrand continues to thrash about. Wrath, it is your turn.
Okay, now sensing the peril that I'm in as I'm getting dragged into the water, I want to try something. Can I have Bruce fly over to me and I can grab onto his tiny little legs and he can try to help me pull me out? So I picture him just like tugging or like him grabbing the back of my cloak and like pulling me, and I'm going to try to get out of this
Okay.
hold.
So you have advantage to escape the grapple. You need to make an acrobatics or athletics check. opposed by the acrobatics or athletics check of the mound. It has disadvantage because you hexed it. So, and you have advantage
Nice.
because Bruce is helping you.
I'm going to use acrobatics because a +1 is better than nothing. And I got a 17.
Bruce is like, I have to help with you with everything. And you manage to pull yourself out of the mud and into the water.
And I take in a big gulp of air.
Okay.
That's thank you, Bruce. I will feed you someone tonight.
Okay. Well, the mud creature though is very unperturbed by that, and it lumbers forward. It can enter the spaces of the other creatures, and it attacks both Wrath and Wilhelm, getting a 15 against Wrath and a 15 against Wilhelm.
That matches.
You're both hit?
Yeah.
Okay, you both take 10 points of damage. And
Oh no, is it
I'm going to half that.
who's it gonna drag in? The two of you can roll a d6.
I'm rolling a different d6 than the last one I picked.
You get a big gulp of air.
Guys, I got a 1.
Okay, and Wilhelm gets dragged into it.
No!
Wilhelm scream.
That was my Wilhelm scream. As I just get engulfed in my face. Ah!
The mud creature that comes out of it, it
Oh, come on. I didn't update my thing.
It gets to take its turn here. It comes out and it whacks at you, Rudy, with its pseudopod, getting a 14 to hit.
Nope.
Okay. With that, Rudy, it's your turn.
I want to go up to it. Beside this mud thing, I want to grab this mud thing and start dragging it out of the pond.
Okay.
Yeah.
So technically it is larger than you. So I believe you have disadvantage on your grapple check, but it has disadvantage because it's hexed.
And can I use Houdini for help?
Sure. Yeah, Houdini picks at it.
Yeah, it's like
Grabs out of the top.
Okay, so what are we rolling?
You're rolling acrobatics or athletics against its acrobatics or athletics.
16.
I got a 19.
Darn it.
Now this is a grab, so you can still make your attacks because you can do that as part of the attack action.
And I'm gonna do it again. Can I grapple it twice? Is that?
You can replace one of the attacks. With
Okay,
a grapple,
darn. Okay, so I like grab some mud out of it, and I'm just like, that's not working. And I then just start to hammer it with axes.
Careful with that axe, Rudy.
10.
It's a miss.
Okay, and then
Still gets your bonus
real
action.
close.
my bonus action and just my offhand. Oh, 23?
That's a hit.
Nice.
7 damage.
Okay. Wilhelm, it's your turn.
Wilhelm's having none of this. He doesn't like this situation at all. So he tries to use the rapier as like a pinpoint to like poke a hole through to pull himself out. I'm going to try to break free.
Okay, give me an acrobatics check.
I got a 15.
I also get a 15, so let's roll off again.
13.
I get a 17. You are
Lucky.
stuck in there.
Lucky! I'm using lucky. I have my last luck point.
You're so lucky!
As I start to
could
drip
do it!
back in, I'm like, no, Wilhelm will not die like this. And I burst forward, getting a 22.
Blorp. You burst out. Where do you want to move to?
I like get puked out onto these rocks, and I'm just like laying there.
Nice.
Oh, land, sweet land.
Sweet land. Okay. We go to Wrath.
Does anyone know the name of the corruption?
Oh.
No.
I'm gonna take some shots at it.
Let's
So,
get its name.
what is your name, beast? And Bruce jumps in its face, and I'm gonna take a shot at it just to try to negate the disadvantage because I think I'm base with it, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, 14.
That's a hit.
Woo! For 17 damage.
Oh.
Yes.
And then my second shot with disadvantage, I get a 15
A hit.
for 10 damage.
Okay. It's still kicking, though. You blast bits of it, and mud goes flying around. Roll me a d6, please.
Uh-oh. 6.
Okay. Splort.
No!
Splort.
No!
Flop.
No! Big chunks.
Big chunks go
Flying
flying
off.
off. Yep.
Oh,
Ah!
Okay. Back to the horrible blob of corruption. It is going to smash at Rudy and Wilhelm. Wilhelm jumps out, and a limb from it reaches out to grab you back again, Wilhelm. Getting a 15 to hit.
no.
And a 12 against Rudy.
Nope.
So it
I'm being dragged back in.
grabs you and it pulls you back in.
No!
And Wilhelm, you take 9 points of damage.
Make that. Do I round up or down when I have it?
Round down.
Wilhelm. Are you okay? Can you hold your breath?
For a little bit.
And then the mud creatures swarm around Wrath and Rudy. I get an 8 and a 5 against Wrath, and a 13 and a crit against Rudy.
A crit hit.
So Rudy, you take 10 points of damage as they lash at you with their muddy limbs.
Ow. Oh. To my family, hear my cries.
Oh man.
Where are my 10 kids when I need them?
And now we go to Rudy.
Okay, I'm going to second wind.
Okay.
Ouch. That is 12 healing.
Beautiful.
Okay, hold on. Just update this. Something like that. Okay. I'm gonna just turn around and smack the little muds. So I'll go for the one to the top first. How do I double click and something like that?
Yep.
Yeah. Houdini, get over here. He comes over and sits on the mud.
Okay.
22 to hit.
That's going to make it.
Oh, yeah.
7 damage. And then for my second hit,
Cut it down.
25 to hit
The next one splatters across.
with 12 damage.
Yep.
Boom.
Nice.
Last attack.
Oh, I healed.
Oh, you healed.
I did
Okay.
the second win.
Anything
Yeah.
else? Yep. Wilhelm, you are stuck back in this creature.
Wilhelm, seeing that his first attempt didn't work, decides to instead turn his rapier towards the insides and try to attack the beast from within it.
Okay.
So I'm going to roll with disadvantage, right?
Yep.
Come on, dice. Good, that was a 1. And then I'm being crushed inside, and I'm going to move my hand down and try to fire my crossbow just from my hip.
Don't hit your
Yeah,
foot.
go for it.
Turning a crit into a 12.
That is a miss. Nothing goes through.
No momentum.
I am sad.
It wasn't loaded. You shot a blank.
Yeah, make a you make a Constitution saving throw at the start of your turn.
Okay. At the start of my turn?
At the start of its turn.
Its turn. Okay.
Wrath, it is your turn.
I'm gonna ignore these little dudes and go. Wilhelm, I'm coming, and I send Bruce in to again guide my Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
I get an 11.
With the mud creatures clawing at your feet in the water as you're trying to swim, the blast goes wide.
And I'm going to take my second shot to see if I can line it up. Oh, and I get a 20.
That goes through.
And big money. 17 damage.
There's a burst of mud as the mound explodes and flies out all over the water, destroyed, splattering bits and pieces of mud all across the bank. Roll a d6.
Oh god.
Oh no. 3.
There's actually not much remaining. Florp.
Oh.
And Florp.
And I'm going to move my hex to the one closest to Rudy and also do like strength.
Okay. The last creatures lash out at each of you. I'm going to roll an attack against each of you. I get Rudy with a 19, Wilhelm with an 8, Wrath with an 11, and Wilhelm with another 7. So Rudy, you take another little bit of damage, but I think at this point you guys will be able to clean up the rest of these that remain. You
pick them up.
I just start shoving them out of the water, like I toss them out,
Throwing
and
them
like,
into the
guys,
dry grass.
go kill them.
Well, you guys do that. I'm sitting on a rock wringing the mud out of like my boots.
You guys took the hard way. You guys did it the hard way, but you got there. As you do so, the water spirit begins to come back and wake up again. And it said, and as you recuperate on the side of the bank, it swims up to the water's edge, and you start to see all the ducks going back to their nests. And they just waddle like nothing ever happened. Yeah. Their silent regard, a kind of entitled thank you from the ducks. But as you recuperate sitting on the side of the bank, you hear an ethereal voice speak out to you in a numbing, in this ethereal song of sweet notes. It sounds like water hitting the brooks of stones, and it speaks to you and says, "You saved me. Thank you."
Of course we did, Spirit. You are what keeps this community alive with our duck festival.
Just wanted to save the ducks, and in turn, you.
I hope you enjoy eating my friends.
We will be sure about that.
But
there will be more friends going forward.
They always come back every year. But you've saved me, and I would like to give you a token. And it reaches out onto the edge of the water, and it leaves behind a sphere of solid ice. If you ever need me to help you one day, just break this and wherever I am, I will come and help.
Thank you kindly.
Thank you.
We are honored.
You know, guys, I think it's safe to say that in all my time here in Tierhaven, nothing this crazy has ever happened. And it's safe to say that there will be nothing happening in Tierhaven that could possibly be bigger than the ducks.
I think you're right. I think we have now eased into a time of quiet and peace and prosperity in Tierhaven. Get back to celebrating what's truly important is our family and eating some, solid meat off the breast.
You know, the last thing that this town ever needed was crazy magical mishaps going on just outside of town. So I'm glad we put a stop to that. And let's return to our peaceful town, enjoy the Duck Festival, and live our nice, quiet lives and not have to worry about tromping through these woods ever again.
Had enough action for one lifetime. I don't need no more fighting.
As you head back through the woods, you can already see some of the townsfolk, including Danforth Little, clutching Frank and Ethel under his arms. He says, "Well, I'm just so impressed you got them all to come back! I can't believe it! Where were they hiding?"
That's a
here
story,
and there.
Danforth.
"Well,
And-
you'll have to tell us over dinner."
You have my ducks under your arms. You go pick another. Those are the fast ones.
And you, Wrath, right? That was your name?
Yes.
Thanks for all your help. I promise you, I won't forget you this time.
And with that, our heroes return to Tierhaven
Appreciate.
for the moments and points of light as they celebrate the great duck roast feast of Tierhaven, a happy memory, the last glimmer of light before the shadows come. And that's where we're going to end for the night. Well, that was a absolute blast. Thank you all so much to Jill, Joe, and Kelly for playing. Awesome as Rudy, Wrath, and Wilhelm. I had an absolute great time this evening. How about you all?
That was
So
amazing.
It was so fun. I love ducks. And a special thank you to our dungeon master, Monty Martin, for running a phenomenal campaign and fun adventures and learning to use Roll20 relatively
Yes.
quickly so that we could enjoy this great moment. So thank you, Monty.
Yeah, we did it. I'm really happy with what we have set up. I think it, along with the what I find for me, and I'll just take this as my endorsement for if you have a good group of people that you're playing D&D with that you can trust, that you're not really worried about the die rolls. I gotta say, like, you really don't need much to play D&D online. From just the couple weeks that we've been playing, I think the biggest assets are having video chat. Like of everything, I would say the video is the most important thing. I'm lucky I got a second monitor here where I can have all of you all full screen, so it makes it really easy to feel like we're actually still in the room connected with each other. And having the some physical accessories like my tower and my tray, it actually feels, it's like a really good 80% of the experience. Like it's still missing that little extra bit of magic, I think, but I don't hate this. It's a lot of fun, and I look forward to it just as much as any of our game sessions. But I tell you, I really look forward to when the world is in a place where everyone can come back to this game room, because
I miss the basement.
Yeah, indeed. But it does work really, really well, and I think that especially. I hope for all of you watching, the maps and the battle cam are really cool. It makes us think about how we can improve our physical battle cam when we get back to that as well. So maybe we'll do some homework over the break and see if we can bring it up to speed, because I definitely have to say, there's some cool things on Roll20 that I quite like tracking the hit points. I started tracking hit points with the monsters in Roll20, and it's perfect. It's great. Like, it's so easy to plug in and just do the damage, and I don't have to worry about the math at all. It makes me wish that there was something like that in real life. So that's a lot of fun, and I think that for us, certainly, I think we're gonna go full steam ahead with continuing to use maps. I think for next week we will probably stick with Roll20, but we'll see if I can do some work in the meantime to see if we can try out another VTT as well. I also want to give a big shout out as well to Kyle. Kyle is off now because of the quarantine and everything like that. So we don't have him in the chat, but we miss him very much. But he's still a big part of the team. And of course, a giant thank you to all of you at home watching, and especially our Patreon supporters. This whole thing is made possible thanks to the generosity of our patrons who have enabled us to make sure that we had the gear and the tools necessary to continue doing the show. If you enjoy our work, please consider joining our community on Patreon. You can find it by following the links in the description below or at patreon.com/dungeon_dudes.
Also, don't forget that if you are joining our Patreon, you have exclusive access to our phenomenal Discord community. It is so much fun being in that Discord chat. There's awesome chats happening in there every day. I noticed a lot of our Discord members in the chat today, which was really cool. I took a little look on my break to see who was chatting, and a lot of familiar names in there, which is really fun. So if you guys want to chat with us and hang out with us and ask us all sorts of questions, we pop in there as often as we can, and we love to hang out and chat nerdy stuff. So if you do join our Patreon, make sure to join the Discord as well, so you can just talk to us about all things D&D and all nerdy topics, or just post some cool memes or photos, whatever.
Memes are so good.
I love the meme chat.
Love the memes.
All right, don't forget to look at the links below for our Teespring store, where you can find all of your favorite Dungeon Dudes shirts. Now that we know, going on, it's way bigger than ducks, as well as Dungeons logo, Troll Killer, and the rest of your faves. So bit.ly/Dungeon Dudes merch for all your faves.
And be sure to join us live next Tuesday when we record the campaign live on Twitch. Check us out from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/dungeon_dudes. And we have all the previous episodes of our show up on our YouTube channel as well.
Of course, that's also where Kelly and I post new videos every Thursday at youtube.com/dungeondudes. We cover everything Dungeons & Dragons, including advice for players and guides for dungeon masters. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next time with more Untold Tales of Drakkenheim.